What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Double M Show on a Tuesday, a breezy Tuesday evening. But you got Mr. Mike Nice in the building as always, man.
You know what it is? It can't be double M if you're missing them.
Come on, yeah, that'd be a single one.
Be single M. That don't have the same.
Je ne sais quoi.
I tried to say that with some kids earlier. They said, "What are you saying? What are you saying?" Definitely said it wrong, but
It doesn't have the same je ne sais quoi.
yeah, what he said.
But we are here, man. Still in a pandemic, still at the Caribbean, but we're blessed, highly favored.
Amen to that.
Still here, still kicking, still private. And for a lot of us, a lot of us have a break coming in after, working hard through these fall months. And it's a good time to reflect. It's a good time to settle in. The holiday seasons are coming up. You got Thanksgiving, of course, then following that, whatever, if you're religious, the plentiful of holidays that are coming up with the Kwanzaa, the Hanukkah, the Christmases, and then something I feel like the whole world is looking forward to. Like, this is going to be monumentous, even if it is during a pandemic, but the whole world is looking forward to this new year. A new year. I don't remember a new year ever being this wanted, globally. It's just been a rough 2020, and we thank God that we are still here, still able to do what we do, knowing that there's been a lot of loss. And so that's where we are, man. We're in the fourth quarter. We're in the final lap, to say, and of 2020. And I'm happy we're still here, man, doing Double M, still being able to talk about the things that we love to talk about. Sports came back probably in the second quarter, in the third quarter or so, and we've been doing what we needed to do here on Double M. But first and foremost, I want to hear from you guys. How's y'all mental? How y'all doing entering this fourth quarter? Mike Nice, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. While it's been a crazy, wild year, I think I'm just, happy and blessed to still be here. Like something you were just saying with New Year's coming up, everybody looks forward to New Year's all the time. Oh, yeah, usually people got plans. Oh, I'm going here and there for New Year's. Can't wait to celebrate. I think New Year's takes on a different meaning this year around. Like, the whole world can't wait for 2021. Because I think just the majority of people, well, I know us and the people around me for sure, optimistic that 2021 is going to bring on better.
Can't get any worse.
Right? Can't get any worse than what we've been going through in 2020. And I think most people, and I'm happy that these are the type of people around me, are optimistic that 2021 is just going to be better. And, we're going to look back at the year of 2020 and be like, damn, what a year we had to go through. What a year we had to make it through. And like I said, I know people usually New Year's, you planning on going to this event or that event, buying tickets to go there and this and that.
It's not even about that.
Obviously, it's not about that, and those things won't even be able to happen.
Right.
But I think wherever you are with whoever you're around or you're able to be around, just the excitement of like, thank God we made it another 365 days. And on top of that, looking to stepping into 2021 with just, more blessings to come upon your life and the people around you, but just more happier times as a people, as a society, as a world, as a nation. You just want to take steps in better, positive direction.
Yeah, man. Like, it's funny when I start thinking about like the lockdown that we had in March all the way into like June, that serious lockdown we were in.
Yep.
When my memories of it, I honestly feel like things were in black and white. Like, my memory of this walking around this crib with nothing to do and not being able to go outside, only going to the grocery store and just being at the grocery store, and how morbid of a feeling that was, and people just sick and tired, and you're hearing about the death tolls and all of that. Like, it's just a dark cloud in my memory bank. And I'm hoping, like you said, we're optimistic for the best. Thanksgiving is coming up. However you feel about that holiday, I know that doesn't have the greatest history in the world at all. Thanksgiving is something that maybe we all should dive into and really understand that history. But a lot of people do come together as a family. I know my family comes together, and we talk about the things that we are thankful for within the name itself. I'll come out and just say I'm thankful for you all, man. Thankful for y'all. I'm thankful for the people who watch Double M week in and week out, because there's a good chance that we did not have to do this show at all. During we lost some things that we wanted to do and things that we had to do, but due to the fact that we do a live show, and due to the fact that everyone is engaged in the live show, and was still wanting us to do a show, and still wanted us to talk about things, when obviously this is about culture and sports, but when there was no sports, we didn't talk sports. We talked about whatever was going on in the world, and people were still able to and be engaged with us and listen to what we had to say. So I'm really thankful for the fans. Mike Nice, thankful for you, man. Greatest partner you can ask for, doing this Double M show since 2012, dog. Since 2012. Like, when people ask how about our chemistry and how we do this, we've been doing it for 8 years. And so 8 years is a long, 7 officially, but 7 to 8 years is a long time to do a show with anybody. Do anything with anybody, 7 years is a long time. And I feel like this time, I don't know if you feel it too, like, I know what this dude's going to say. Like, I know if I lay something up in the air, I know how he's going to dunk it in. I know he's going to, either if he's going to react to it, if he's going to make a joke about it. Like, it's just that type of chemistry that we built on through the years, week in and week out. Like, we've done over maybe 200 shows together.
Yeah, the numbers is just through the roof.
That's not even talking about Patriots post-game shows and then the other Patriots shows that we've done together. Yep. So to the point, like, to be able to do this show with somebody and still have that chemistry, and every week, and it's a brand new week. Although we do a show together all the time, it's always a brand new week. There's always surprises, and that's what I love about Double M. That's what I love about y'all, man. For real.
Absolutely, you said it all, for sure. Thankful for you, for real, Mees, and just thankful that we have this platform, because something that you said, we had some episodes where like Marv and I, we love our sports for sure, but when there was no sports, we sat here and had some real ass conversations about real situations taking place in this world, and it got real. I know for sure we both sat here when we each were speaking, and we put our heart on we just went off with the deepest thoughts and feelings that we had. And not only were we able to sit here and do that, but again, on all the platforms that we're on, we're on IG, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, hearing y'all response. We say this every show, week in and week out, every time we drop an episode, whatnot. This show doesn't run without y'all. Yes, Marv and I here doing it. We're the host of the show. But if we don't have you guys in the comments, throwing in your 2 cents, cracking jokes, dropping, stats and information that we probably don't have, that you guys drop to us real quickly, that's what we definitely are thankful, grateful for, because you guys make the show. So, whether you, again, on IG right now, whether you're on Facebook, please don't be afraid to drop in the chat, in the comment box, what you're thankful for, whatever you're thankful for, whatever it is. Because, similar to what Marv was saying, this time in season for me is all about what am I thankful for? What am I blessed to have in my life right now? Again, Thanksgiving, the history of Thanksgiving. I was just thinking about this morning driving to work. The history of Thanksgiving is wild. It's bad. We look at the history of Thanksgiving and how it came to be in this country. Like, the meaning is something that I don't think anybody should be proud of. I don't care, your answer. I don't care. The history of Thanksgiving is a real sad one. But the word Thanksgiving and being thankful, I think everybody universally can understand that. And, going to this time and season, where being thankful for things is, magnified even more on a day when you can get together with family, friends, and loved ones. So, yeah, I'm thankful for Marv. I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful for all of y'all tuned in. It's just great to have.
Yeah, one last thing on the the history of Thanksgiving, because I have my baby cousin who's going out in school here, so this is going to be her first Thanksgiving ever. And then I had to, so obviously I had to explain to her.
Oh boy!
I always had to explain to her what Thanksgiving is. Now, first, you tell her about the good stuff. Oh, we get together, we grub, and we laugh.
Yeah.
We get good drinks and all that. She's like, oh, that's awesome. Well, why? Like, what created Thanksgiving? Like, what's that about? Then I'm like, oh,
The history.
Well, let me tell you something. And then, like, the history is sick. The history of Thanksgiving is sick. And I know there's people now that as they've gotten older, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't blame nobody for not celebrating Thanksgiving. But yeah, like once you start to speak it out loud and you really start to think about it, you're like, oh man, it's
a pretty sad holiday. The history of it is a sad.
And it just represents America in general. The things that American or the American flag or what it celebrates. You think about the South when you look at, they got statues of Christopher Columbus, and they got the what do you call it? What's that flag called?
Confederate flag?
They got the Confederate flag. Erase that from my memory. And they have all of these, negative connotations that mean something to other people, and it gets celebrated into this country. It's a crazy thing. But I don't want to get too off topic. Everybody who's on right now on YouTube, IG, welcome to the Double M Show. Mike Nice, DJ Mees. We in our celebration mode, but we also got a show to do. We also got to be a little professional.
Yeah.
We also got things we need to get off our chests.
Absolutely.
The NBA free agency, y'all. Excuse me. NBA free agency just happened. What was the day? Today we are a Tuesday. Free agency opened up
last
Friday, and moves were made. And obviously, this NBA free agency was a lot different compared to others. The money's not there compared to other years due to the pandemic and what's happening. But moves were still being made. Couple moves. I'll spit them out there. If you're in the comments, give your reactions. Mike, you can give a quick reaction as well. Fred VanVleet, he was a big undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Golden State would grab him. He signed a 4-year deal to stay with Toronto, which is big for Toronto because that means they'll still be competitive in the East.
Thumbs up. Huh?
I'm gonna skip this one for later. Bogdan Bogdanovic. We don't know where he's going. He agreed to the $72 million offer that the Hawks gave him. Now we got to see if the Kings match it. His story is crazy because he was supposed to go to Milwaukee, and that was gonna make Milwaukee, to my eyes, take that next step. But okay, something happened and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So sorry, Milwaukee. Joe Harris, the shooter of Brooklyn Nets, 4 years, $75 million with the Nets.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Danilo Gallinari went from OKC to Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, that's the second time we're saying their name now.
Good pickup.
Goran Dragic, another free agent. I was really interested. He was another name. He signs 2 years, $37 million with the Miami Heat.
It's good guy to keep around, yeah.
Montrezl Harrell, here was a shocker. Montrezl Harrell got paid 2 years, $19 million, and he doesn't get to move. He doesn't need to move. He does not need to move because he got signed by the Los Angeles Lakers, 6th man of the year.
And a Laker fan, but that's a good pickup. Right.
I want to stop at Montrezl Harrell for a second here just to talk about him. I think the bubble was the worst thing to happen to Montrezl. This is a guy, 6th man of the year, balling during the season. Absolutely an animal. The bubble happens. Unfortunately, he has to get quarantined. He leaves the bubble for, I believe it was his grandmother who passed away. Came back, and he was never the same player He wasn't as great. I mean, he had some tough matches. When you get paired up against Jokic and stuff, you're gonna get exposed by those type of plays. And he got exposed. He didn't have the greatest numbers, and I don't think the market was crazy for Harold as it should have been. Had it just been his season where he was just a monster and he won 6-man.
Yep.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, he got 6-man of the year based off the season he was having. If you extended the season and how they look at the award into the bubble, I don't know if Montrezl Harrell is still getting the 6-man of the year award because, like you said, he missed a lot of time, and when he came back, he wasn't the same, player that he was throughout the season. So, yeah, it probably hit his value.
2 years, $19 million is not something.
Not something. That
Would you say earlier? Not something to sneeze at.
Not something you sniff your nose at. Whatever the saying is, I don't know what the freaking saying is, Marv. Something like that.
Shout out to Joe Vaughn, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Barbette wants to talk Thompson on the Celtics. Oh, we get
into the Celtics. Please believe. All you Celtics fans in there, please stick around.
We NBA fans too, so we got to talk about the lay of the land. What's going on in the lay of the land, and then we will focus on the Celtics. Another couple big moves here. Marcus Morris got himself paid.
He did.
Marcus Morris, 4 years, $64 million with the Los Angeles Clippers. For a guy who didn't really have a big role on that team, he would only make depth.
I like that. I like that for the Clippers.
Serge Ibaka, here's a big move. Ibaka, a guy I wanted for the Celtics to get. He also got 2 years, $19 million like Montrezl Harrell, but he is going to the Clippers. I think that helps the Clippers out more than having Harrell, due to the fact that Ibaka not only is a rim protector, but he can spread the floor more as well and help with the spacing for that Clippers team. So Serge Ibaka, a big move for the Clippers.
You know what? It's a good replacement. Like, you lose Harrell, which is huge for the Clippers because everything he brought to the table. But Ibaka, I don't think Ibaka brings that same intensity that Harrell, brought to the table when he was with the Clippers. He was arguably, the heartbeat of that team, the lifeblood of that team. Ibaka, his personality is not really like that, but he has a connection with Kawhi that we already know of. And then, something like you said, he stretches the floor. He can hit some corner threes or some elbow threes. Some wing threes. Something that Harrell could not do. Yeah, he kind of a beast in the paint, but, Ibaka can be a little bit of a beast in the paint, but he can then hit the outside shot that if Kawhi or Paul George is driving, they can easily kick it to him for a shot. So I really like that replacement in Ibaka going to the Clippers.
All right, I'm going to make this quick. A couple minor moves that I don't think moves the needle crazy, but are noticeable names that you guys should know about. Wesley Matthews goes from the Bucks to the Los Angeles Lakers for 1 year, $3.6 million. And then Rajon Rondo goes from the Lakers to the Atlanta Hawks as well to bolster that backcourt. And he's getting paid 2 years, $15 million. Rondo, we talk about Harrell, someone who I felt took an L in the bubble. Rondo took a W in the bubble in every sense of the word. He finally gave himself his name back, playing so well with the Lakers, coming off the bench. And he had a great bubble.
It was confusing to me as to why he chose Atlanta. I don't know if that's where his family's located, close to home. Maybe that is the case. But I look at the Rondo that we saw in the bubble, and I'm like, okay, this guy showed that he can still be a valuable asset to an NBA team.
Right.
And I honestly thought, I didn't necessarily know the situations off my head, but whether it be the Clippers or somebody, he could go somewhere and be a starting point guard. If you went to the Clippers, you're starting over Patrick Beverley. That's not even a question. It's not even a hesitation. I thought Rondo could go somewhere, and still have a starting point guard position. But you chose, the Atlanta Hawks, where that you're behind Trae Young. And on top of that, they signed Chris Dunn as well. So now you got three guys that
who's a solid backup point guard as well.
Three guys sharing that position. It was very confusing to me as to why Rondo chose there. But hey, man, he got 2 rings now. He got a decent amount of money for a 34, 35-year-old point guard.
And Trae Young's still a monster. Maybe under Rondo's wing, who knows what Trae Young can develop
into more of a playmaker learning under Rondo. So that'd be huge for them, on all honesty.
And Trae Young's already a great passer as it is. We talk about Trae Young shooting, but what separates Trae Young from Steph Curry in that comparison is Trae Young's actually a point guard. Like he does look for his players. Steph Curry is just undersized. He's a shooting guard who's just an incredible shooter. And so Barbette said he wanted Ibaka on the Celtics so bad. Hey, Barbette, I feel you, man. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are out there.
Boy.
So speaking of guys that are out there, I'll just give a quick rundown of who's still out there.
Please, I need those names.
So, Mike Nash, you got Shabazz Napier, young guy from Boston. Shout out to Shabazz. Jordan McLaurin, point guard from Minnesota. You got Shaquille Harrison. Hassan Whiteside, that's an interesting name. He's still an undrafted free agent. Kyle Korver, undrafted free agent from the Bucks. Reggie Jackson, point guard for the Clippers. I'm pretty sure the Clippers might pick that up because right now they don't have a point guard. Rondé Hollis Jefferson, wing player from the Raptors. He's still out there. Glenn Robinson III. These names aren't really jumping out at you. Noah Vonleh, undrafted free agent. Yogi Ferrell, Gerald Green.
That's my boy. Bring him back to the seas.
Gerald Green's coming off a serious injury. I don't want him right now. CJ Miles. Tyler Johnson. Look like Jack Harlow. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
All right.
Here's a name, and I want to make sure we talk about him sometime today. Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's get into the Celtics talk here because cool. NBA making moves. NBA teams making moves, loading up left and right. But we got to get into the Celtics team, and I ain't gonna waste no time. I put a status up. Or post up, whatever they call it on Facebook still. Put a post up on Facebook. Newsfeed, sure. Put it up on Facebook, and asking people yo, are you guys, you think this is a good off season for the Celtics so far? And quite a lot of responses, shockingly to me, were, I'm very happy. I'm very excited because, I ain't going to call out the people who responded, but the majority were saying to me, oh, yeah, I really like the Tristan Thompson signing. I really like the Jeff Teague signing. And, they got a nice, good rookie Neesmith shooter in the draft. And according to some of those people as well, those guys will take them over the hump. Those guys will supposedly take this current Celtics team over the hump. Let me explain something to y'all. You guys aren't too hip with the Celtics. Out of the last 4 years, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years.
Their best team didn't make it.
And the best team that they had only made it to the semifinals. So 3 of the last 4 years, Celtics were a series away from having a chance to compete for a championship. And I think, in all honesty, last year's team kind of. The current team that they have, and yes, the offseason is not over. There's still moves that can be made. Sign and trade could possibly still happen for Hayward, or there's still free agents out there. From what I'm looking at, and this is me personally, this team that is currently constructed, I know you got Tristan Thompson, Jeff Teague. It's not enough to take you to the next level. Your goal is to win I say this all the time. Your goal is to win a championship. If I stand corrected. Not to develop players. We're not here to develop players right now. Your goal is to have Tatum and Brown, who are the young stars. You signed Kemba. I got to talk about Kemba too because I saw something about him earlier.
You know my thoughts.
You got Kemba, who's an all-star. Smart, is a solid player. You got the core there. And when you have a nice, solid core of guys who are all-star players, your goal should be to go out and put out a supporting cast to win a championship. I don't see that the Celtics have enough to make that leap into the championship conversation. Right now, they're just they'll make the playoffs, but are they going to make some serious noise? I personally don't think so. Tristan Thompson's a solid veteran player, sure. Jeff Teague's been around, solid veteran player. I've been asking for veteran players. But then I look at the fact that Danny Ainge still went out and re-upped on Semi Ojeley's contract, re-up on Taco Fall's contract, re-up on.
Well, Taco's a two-way contract. I want to put any
true,
thing
but
on that.
Still, kind of he still takes away a roster spot.
No,
doesn't take a roster.
It's a two-way contract.
So okay.
So not really.
Semi Ojale is back. Javonte Green's back. I feel as if there's still a void that can be filled, or maybe two voids that can be filled with this Celtics team that would help put them. Because right now, Tatum and Brown and Kemba and semi-Kemba, because we don't know his health situation, it's not enough in my opinion. When I look around the league and I know the Celtics got to get through the Eastern Conference before they even worry about the West loaded. West always loaded. We know the deal. West always loaded. But the East is putting in work clearly based off the free agent signings that you just talked about. And right now, it seems like Celtics didn't necessarily, they didn't regress, but I don't see anybody jumping off rooftops, screaming and yelling with the current moves that they made.
Right. So nothing you said is wrong, right? But for the sake of the show, I do gotta play devil's advocate, something you love to do so much. And I do believe what I'm about to say too, so I'm not just playing devil's advocate for the sake of it. The Milwaukee Bucks, as you know, Mike, I never believed in them. Mm-hmm. I've always thought they were pretenders. They got Drew Holiday. They got rid of some pieces, brought in Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, I like Drew Holiday a lot.
Yep.
I don't think Milwaukee Bucks are a better team than the Celtics with Drew Holiday. Didn't think they were a better team than the Celtics last year. Definitely don't think with Drew Holiday they become that much better, especially with losing pieces. They still got some work to do. Cool. Philadelphia Sixers. They made some moves. They've added Seth Curry. They've added what's the other, Danny Green into the mix. They kept the core with Simmons and Embiid.
And they signed a big too. I feel like they signed another big.
They got Dwight Howard.
Oh, they got Dwight too.
Dwight Howard, yeah. Cool. 76ers are an interesting team. I think they showed us who they really are last year. They still got Ben. Ben can't shoot. Embiid, a great player. Can he get into shape? Embiid gets into shape. He's the best basketball player in the league.
I think Doc Rivers is a good coach for them.
Yeah, Doc's a great coach. I'm taking the Celtics over Philadelphia Sixers. I think that the Celtics have enough to beat the Sixers still in this series. Sixers are but they're an interesting team. They're the team that if you just don't know with them, you don't know where their heart is. You don't know if they're going to stay healthy. Ben Simmons every year is hurt. Embiid every year is hurt. So they're an interesting team. Toronto Raptors, get them out the picture. Sorry, over with.
I think Toronto's gone.
Toronto's is not going to be a team that you have to fear.
Thought that last year.
We did think that last year. Celtics unfortunately didn't have no type of heart or leadership, and they had to go to game 7. Being up 3-0, you're better than that team. Or we're supposed to be up 3-0. They didn't make it 3-0. Being supposed to be up 3-0, but Celtics are a better team than Toronto. I think we can agree with that as well. And then we saw that Pascal Siakam's not who we thought he is. Like that, it is what it is. Now you go into Miami Heat. Talk about a team that made no moves. Miami Heat is, they got young core. I guess they're just expecting that core to get better. Tyler Hero is going to go into his second year. He's going to be better. Chris Dunn, he's going to be better. You still got Jimmy Butler. You signed Bam. He's going to develop. He's going to be better as well. So I guess that's what they're doing. Celtics, in all reality, should have beat Miami, right? I think we both agree once you got to the conference final, I think we're both confident that, hey, Celtics should have more talent, should beat Miami. It didn't go as we expected. Celtics lost. I think Celtics, with the tiny additions that they made, and you believe that if Jaylen Brown's going to make another step, you believe that Tatum, 22 at 23, they're both going to take another step and be better than they were last year. I think Celtics are ahead of them. Brooklyn Nets, another question mark. Kyrie, KD, that team should be the number one team in the East, right? And you look at that team, Steve Nash are going to be running gun, put up a lot of points. We'll see. And Caris LeVert, who I love.
Spencer
Dinwiddie. I think they got to move Dinwiddie and bring some other pieces in there. But if they're all healthy, Brooklyn should be the benchmark. Should. On paper. We've seen teams on paper look amazing, and it doesn't happen. Should be the benchmark, but we'll see. the question mark is out on Brooklyn. No one knows what Brooklyn's going to look like. All reports coming out saying KD is back. He looks amazing, but we hear that about every player that comes off an injury. Every player that comes off an injury, they're back. They look good. We'll see. I like that Brooklyn team, but we can all agree, hey, we haven't seen them. We got to see Steve Nash, first year coach, whatever. Mike D'Antoni, we know they can't play defense. So question mark on them. Then you got the Celtics, who are supposed to be top 2 team in the East, playing devil's advocate. Gordon Hayward brought you nothing anyways. He brought you nothing when the games counted. I don't care what all y'all say, oh, he's a good foot. He brought you nothing. And Jovan quickly just gave us breaking news. Bogdan Bogdanović will be going into the Atlanta Hawks.
I knew that was going to happen.
So good job, Atlanta, for building a solid team that should make the playoffs this year. Back to what I was saying, Celtics, in my eyes, after the breakdown I just said, should still be a top 2 team. The catalyst here is the Brooklyn Nets. And this is me not believing in the Bucks. A lot of people can say, oh, Marv, you're wrong. The Bucks going to make it. And you have an argument there. This is solely because I don't believe in Milwaukee. I don't believe in Giannis in the fourth quarter when he needs to shoot the ball. That's just me. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. I also believe that we got to put in account that Tatum's going to take another step. Tatum has to take another step, Brown has to take another step. Now, the key isn't something you're going to talk about, and I'm going to give the floor to you. The key is Kemba. The only reason Celtics didn't make it to the finals, Kemba Walker didn't show up. If we're being really honest, we could talk about the leadership, the immaturity, all of this. Kemba Walker got outplayed by Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
And that's why you did not go to the NBA Finals. Yes, a lot of moves have been made in this free agency. Yes, I'm pissed about this Gordon Hayward situation that we're going to talk about. I'm sick. But look at the moves that are being made. A lot of it's happening in the West. Let them bang it out. Let them bang it out. Celtics are still in, luckily, due to Brown and Tatum, Celtics are still in a position to make a run at the finals. You said that they're not. I think they still are. But Kemba Walker, if he's what he is now for what he showed in the bubble, then I'm forget everything I said, delete it, and I walk back my comments.
Nah, Kemba's huge. Kemba's huge. You went through the majority of the season knowing that you had it was a fact. It was end of the season, you had 3 guys who averaged over 20 points a game. Kemba was not that person as they got deeper into the bubble. So he's huge. But something that Jovan said, in a chapter that I stand by, which is still going to, in my opinion, hurt the Celtics somewhat, is the fact that can you really trust the bench? We feel confident in the supporting cast of the Celtics? When I talk about supporting cast, I'm assuming Kemba, Tatum, Brown are going to be all-star level players that they have been. I hear that. Smart's going to be Marcus Smart. He's not going anywhere. Do we necessarily trust the supporting cast? Out goes Cantor, in comes Tristan Thompson.
Not mad at that.
Not mad at that at all. Out goes Wanamaker, in comes Jeff T.
Big upgrade.
I definitely like that upgrade because now you're talking about a veteran NBA point guard on your team. I like that. But then after that, you look at the bench. It's still a little bit of mixture of rookies, second-year players. And I understand Tatum and Brown are still young, can take a next step, and that's great and all. But I stand by the fact that when you look at most championships teams, yeah, they have their star players for sure, but it's the supporting cast that really puts you over the edge.
That's where I disagree. Just look at the finals.
You don't think that a supporting
Lakers had no supporting cast.
When you say supporting cast, I'm talking about guys that I'm not looking for a supporting cast person to come off the bench and be like, oh, we need that person to come off the bench and talk and drop, 15 points a game off the bench. When I say supporting cast, I'm just talking about intelligent players that can put in the game and at least they're not maybe making impact by scoring a bunch of points, but they'll know what to do, how to do it, and you can depend on them to come and have an NBA mindset. Like, off the Celtics bench last year, who was really that? We know that Semi Ojeleye sucked. We know that Langford could barely stay on the court. Javonte Green was hurt majority of the bubble. I'm just purely looking at supporting cast. And yeah, it's easy to have a supporting cast. We have a 6-man off the year like a Lou Williams or Montreal Harrell or these guys that can come off and add something to the game. I just don't want the Celtics to be the team that I saw last year or even previous years where it's like, you have a great starting lineup. And something that my dad talks about all this. Celtics are one team that, they start their 5 best players, which is great. The last couple of years, people used to question, should they be starting, Kemba, Brown, and Hayward? Should they be starting? Should one of them come off the bench? They're all wing players. Should one of them come off the bench? I just want to see a bench where you can actually look to and depend on those guys. Not look to and say, well, it's a rookie and some foreign player. And, I want to see a bench and supporting cast around Tatum and Brown that can be depended upon to help elevate them.
I definitely agree. And I still think you need to make 1 or 2 more moves for the bench. I agree with that as well. I don't know whether, Tice or Thompson, which one is going to start. Either one of them coming off the bench is cool. Obviously not getting Turner and McDermott from that Pacers supposedly signing trade hurts. Because if you told me you have Miles Turner and McDermott and then you went to sign Teague and Thompson, that's the team.
I wouldn't complain too much.
That's that. Hey, and then you went and got a shooter in Neesmith, and we'll see what you get from I'm blanking on I'm thinking on his name. I don't want to say his name wrong, but
sorry.
You tell him you get something out of him. Neesmith, I like him. As a Celtics fan, you got to get sold on these rookies somehow. I'm thinking you can get something out of Neesmith off of his potential and seeing what he can become. A 6'6" wing shooter, please, any day of the week. If he could be anything close to a Chris Middleton, I will take it for sure off the bench. And a guy, you can plug in. I don't care about the Taco, the Tremont Waters. Those are 2-way contracts. Like if they pan out, they pan out. They don't. They don't affect the team. They don't affect the team whatsoever. Ojeleye, Brad Stevens, that's his boy. Brad Stevens loves him. Hopefully, you could get someone else in here that is not logging playoff minutes. Only time Semi's ever been valuable is against Milwaukee Bucks. Only time I've seen Semi valuable. Other than that, the man can't shoot. Until the man can't shoot, he can't be on the floor whatsoever.
Adds nothing.
You need to bring someone else in here. I know there's rumors out there that potentially there's still a sign and trade going on. If that brings in cash consideration, sure, I won't even be mad at that. Then you have from here to whenever that trade deadline is to using that cash consideration because you effed it up during this Pacers trade. If the rumors come out and it's true that he really tried to get TJ Warren and OD, that's cool. Okay, yeah, hey, how's Warren? How's OD? But they tell you no, and they say McDermott and Turner. What are you waiting for? What in the world are you waiting? There's no offer going on, and now Gordon's gone to Charlotte.
The only thing that could give me some kind of clarity in that is if Gordon Hayward said, I don't want to go to Indiana. No. That's the only thing that would make sense.
All reports coming out, he wanted to go. But then I'm reading reports that although they were going to do the sign and trade, Indiana was not willing to put up that much money on Gordon due to the fact that they still had Oladipo on an expiring contract, and they had Warren on an expiring contract. So they weren't trying to do all that. That's what I'm hearing. I need to, like you said, I'm waiting on the report. One thing I do want to talk about is, losing Gordon for nothing is trash. It's horrible, and it's not a good look on Danny whatsoever. This is probably the biggest black eye you can have. Kyrie, we gave you a pass because hey, by all accounts,
Kyrie screwed us. Kyrie screwed us, yeah.
So we're not going to put that on Danny. Horford is 50-50. It's like, no, I can't even. Horford's a dummy, and now he's all the way, where's he, in Oklahoma or somewhere?
Yeah.
Philly wanted to give him all that money. I was never going to want Danny Ainge to throw another 4 years, $100 billion on Horford. Would have loved to keep him for maybe 80, but he left. Okay, we can kind of give you a lax out for that, Danny. Gordon Hayward, where we all knew he was the weakest link. You have to do everything in your power to get something from Gordon Hayward. And I know I might have been the only one in the minority. I was yelling, I was screaming from the rooftops to trade him during the trade deadline. Get something for Gordon Hayward in the trade deadline. For all this stuff, everyone's saying, oh, we don't have no bench. We don't have no... Get rid of him in the trade deadline. Get some pieces, and I tell you this, Celtics would have had a bench. I'm like, okay, Gordon Hayward, he's a great fourth man. He's shooting 17 points per game. All right, cool. Brought you nothing in the playoffs. Absolutely zero. Nothing. Probably made you worse when he played because he's just, what's the plus minus? He was always in the negative side. Always. So so getting rid of him is like addition from subtraction. I'm saying it wrong. Him getting me mad gets me sweaty. And he found the final way to screw me was him going away for nothing. And I don't blame him. A team's gonna throw you 120 mil and you don't do nothing. I'm gonna take it. Jordan, Charlotte, I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but this is where we are, man. This is where we are. Subtraction. I can't think of the term.
Subtraction for nothing.
Subtraction, yeah.
That's basically what it is when you talk Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, it's just you couldn't get rid of Gordon Hayward. Should have never went for nothing.
In a perfect world, I heard. In my perfect world, again, we're on opposite sides. I had no problem having Gordon Hayward back on this team. Yes, the money is the big separator. He's making a lot of money for his production and whatnot. I get that. If they were able to, him decline his option and him sign a 2-year shorter deal, less money, I would have been fine with keeping Hayward. And if you were still able to go out and get Tristan Thompson and Teague, now you're showing me something. Because just in a perfect world for me, you had Hayward, he would have been back. Then you have a bench talking about Teague and Smart and Tristan Thompson possibly off the bench, still getting 20 from Tatum, 20 from Jalen, 20 from Kemba, 17 from Hayward. That's a team I could have worked with if they kept it and ran it back and just added pieces to the bench. Honestly, that's all I could have asked for. Celtics could have run it back with the same team, move a couple of them, Wanamaker by and Ojale by, and add in, if you sub out Kanter, because obviously Kanter does not fit the system that we noticed in the bubble. You sub out Kanter for, Tristan Thompson, I would have been fine with that. Run it back with just a better bench is what I really wish would have happened. Run it back with a better bench. Obviously, you hope that Hayward stays healthy because a healthy Hayward is huge for the team. Run it back, better bench. I think the Celtics would have been fine. And you're really talking about a championship contender team. Right now, I'm telling you, I don't. You know that feeling when you going into a season like, oh boy, this is it. That was 2 years ago.
Right.
That was 2 years ago when you had Kyrie, Horford, Hayward, Tatum, Brown, solid bench of Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier. That year, the majority of us were like, oh my goodness.
The whole nation.
If this team is clicking, that team was on the cover of every Sports Illustrated, talked about. You know that feeling when the team is it. If you've been a basketball fan long enough and your team loads up the right way, you know that feeling of, okay, yeah, we felt that way in 2008. We felt that way in 2017, 2018. Like, that feeling. Didn't have that feeling last year. Don't have it currently this year. We know that feeling.
I'm more optimistic this year than I was last year. due to the fact that I'm looking at.
You don't think that? I know you hate Hayward. I know you hate him, but you don't think that.
No, because
nobody needs to replace what he kind of brought to the team.
No.
You don't think that there needs to be some kind of replacement for Hayward?
Obviously, I wanted something for Hayward. That's what I was just going off of. You want something for Hayward, but we saw in the bubble when Hayward wasn't playing, you were still fine. It's not you didn't lack defense, you didn't lack scoring. The other guys needed to step up in the scoring. That's all. Marcus Smart went from 8 points a game to 14 to 15 points a game. Like Celtics scoring wise never really had a problem with that. Especially when you look at Kemba, Tatum, Brown, that's a lot more firepower than a lot of teams in the NBA right there. Your problem was depth. When someone gets in foul trouble, when someone's not having it. And I think the not having it gets less off of experience. Tatum, there was games where you lost because Tatum just didn't have it, right? There was games where Tatum was going 2 for 10. It was like, damn, Tatum doesn't have it. If Jalen struck, I think that drops down a little bit on the next year. Tatum averaging 21, 22 points goes up more to 24, 25 points. Jalen tinkering around 19, 20, jumps up to 22, 24 without Gordon taking those shots. Like these guys are going to develop. Naturally, they should develop if we're projecting them to be that duo like we're thinking of Kawhi and Paul George. And this is something we're talking about two young guys, two wing players going up in the NBA. This is what their fourth year playing with each other now?
Believe so.
Tatum's going in his 4th year?
Tatum's going into his 4th, and Brown's going into his 5th.
Damn, Tatum's already in the league 4 years. So Tatum's going into his 4th year. So this is 4 years of them going together. That already is probably the most rarest thing in the NBA. Next to Jordan and Pippen. 4 years already developing as two wing starters, and the game, the ball should go through y'all. That's already rare. We haven't really seen that. We thought maybe Vince Carter and Tracy can be like that. You know, Kawhi and Paul George, they're going on their 2nd year of doing it. So this is already something that we're already seeing that we haven't really seen before. These two can really become that special wing that we're all expecting them to be. And this needs to be the year. This needs to be the breakout year where they put their foot on the ground and say, hey, we're going to take over. You know, last year, me and Mike went on a limb. It wasn't a popular saying to say that Jaylen Brown needs to be the 2nd option and Kemba be the 3rd option. That wasn't going out on a limb at all. But now everyone sees that like, oh,
automatic.
It's automatic. Yeah, it's automatic now. You know, when Kemba came in, you thought, okay, Kemba Tatum or Tatum Kemba. We'll say, nah, Kemba might need to be the 3rd option. We know he's scored 26 points a game, whatever. He might be the 3rd. Now it's obvious that he's the 3rd option. Can Jalen take that next step? Jason, he's already showed us when he's comfortable. What we showed us in February was like, whoa, we had that Tatum in the bubble. It's a wrap. So that development, I think, can happen, and I'm banking on it to happen. Clearly, the Celtics are banking on to happen. If that happens, you bring in another piece. I think the Celtics can still be okay. Yes, I'm pissed. Gordon, we didn't get nothing from Gordon Hayward. I'm also happy he's gone, but we didn't get nothing from Gordon Hayward. The sign and trade, there's still moves that need to be made on this team. Especially, I'm thinking make a big man that can shoot a little bit better than Tice. Ibaka would have been perfect. I know Barbette was speaking on it. Ibaka would have fit amazing with this Celtics team.
Yeah, I mean, a stretch big, like Tyson's a stretch big, and he played a solid defense, nothing crazy. I think having Miles Turner was an easy upgrade of Tyson. You know, Ibaka, the same thing. I think no one's mad at Tristan Thompson because you know he's like a type of hustle player and rebounder. But in Brad's system, you know he loves his stretch bigs. And I'm assuming, just like we saw with Cantor and Baines when they were here, Tristan Thompson's going to be taking some corner 3-pointers most likely. And he's probably at the, training, wherever he's training, working on those now because that's Brad Stevens' system. The big man taking some threes. This is the team that we have right now. And I'm hoping that training camp opens like December 1st, I believe.
Tomorrow.
Pretty much. Like it's like a week away. I'm hoping that there's a few more additions that can be made to this team. I personally feel as if I want to see, I know there's the list here. The well is really dried up.
Oh, yeah.
The well is really dried up. But I'm hoping that there's another addition at the wing spot that the Celtics can. Like, I understand they have the rookie there, Nesmith. And they're probably hoping that Langford can turn into something. If that's what the Celtics are going into the season.
If Langford does, I mean, if
that's two wing players right there.
If that works out, it works out. But we're not. It's not question marks.
That's where it boils down to for me. There's a lot of question marks on this team compared to if you just have, people who have been in this league that you can depend on and be a supporting cast. Langford and Nesmith are question marks because they're rookies and young players. And I'm thinking I want a veteran wing player who you can plug into the system and play right now.
Yeah.
Like Langford and Nesmith are gonna, if this is what the roster looks like, are gonna battle for playing time and maybe see if they can develop and who's gonna be the guy to step up. Nah, I want them guys in there now. I don't want a development phase with the Celtics anymore. I want a win now mindset.
I mean, that's it's not a development phase because you're still a top team in the East. My thing is this: hey, Tatum and Brown were young guys, and they were big pieces. Tatum and Brown were big pieces. Tyler Hero, we just saw what he did for rookie year. He was a big piece. They played better than some veteran. We remember that Isaiah Thomas-led team, or when Isaiah got hurt, the shoulders were all put on Tatum and Brown to become big players, and they performed until they ran into LeBron and the Cavaliers. Like you give these young guys Langford, Nesmith. You're not asking them to play 30 minutes a game. For 15 minutes, give us solid minutes. Play defense. Steven wants you to play defense. Langford, for the 2 minutes he's on the court and he's injury-free, he plays great defense. His score. He was a scorer in college. His scoring in the NBA is nowhere to be found. That's something.
We needed just a 3-and-D guy. An upgrade from
Nesmith. Nesmith should be able to be better than Ojale by all accounts. Ojale is a second rounder. Like Nesmith's coming into this league, should already in training camp solidify his spot over Semi Ojale. Obviously, his rookie, it might take some time, but he should. If he's a shooter that everyone's saying he's, and he's someone that can really develop, we'll see where it goes from there. I'm with you. They need to make 1 or 2 more moves.
That's all I ask
with this team that we have here. But I'm more on the optimistic side due to the fact that I don't believe in Milwaukee. 76ers, Doc Rivers, yeah, that's going to be a team to watch out for. And then Brooklyn's a question mark.
Yeah, in the West, that the Lakers are ahead of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Obviously the Clippers are right there. Denver's kind of right there, but it's the Lakers at the head of the pack. Right now, in the East, there's no real head of the pack. Like you said, we on paper, Brooklyn's a question mark. You're saying no. I think with better moves that Danny Ainge made or could make, whatever, I think the Celtics could have had a clearer seat at the top of the East Mountain. Like right now, they're kind of flowing. Oh, the Celtics, supporting cast is up in the air, and Milwaukee, who's going to be around Giannis to help out, and Brooklyn, everybody has to get healthy. I think if there's one team, mainly between Milwaukee and Boston, to really, because I guess Miami too, because they made the finals and they got through the Celtics and they got through Miami, so I guess Miami too. But I feel as if the way the Celtics is constructed with their young core of all-star players, like Milwaukee has Giannis and Middleton, I guess, and Miami has Butler and Bam, sure. Celtics got Kemba, Brown, and Tatum.
Comes down to Kemba.
I feel as if Celtics could have a clearer seat at the head of the table in the East, but it all comes down to what Danny Ainge does in terms of putting together a team. And I think that's what really gets me frustrated. Like Celtics, you put the right pieces around Tatum and Brown and Kemba, like Celtics could be like, oh, that's the team right there. But I don't think that's the clear picture for them right now.
And I also think you feel that way because Kemba, you have a question mark about Kemba.
I do.
Because if you knew that Kemba, or if Kemba performs 22 points a game in the playoffs, I don't think you're saying as much as you're saying right now.
Probably not, because then it just be boiled down. If Kemba was the same guy he was all regular season, then the playoffs would come down to what are you getting from the bench?
Yeah. And you wouldn't need much from the bench if you had a couple solid pieces, and if Gordon was healthy, like you wouldn't have needed much. If Kemba can perform as Kemba Walker, I'm telling you, this team is clear cut. I'm telling you, it's clear cut number one in the East.
So you're telling me it's Kemba right now that does it.
I think obviously depth helps, but Kemba's the question mark. Your general leader, it's not that he played bad. He was horrible. He was fearful. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't play. Like one thing about Kemba, in the playoffs, that's when I realized how small he is. I know he's listed 6', he was like 5'10", 5'11", and he got abused defensively. So not only are you a liability now on defense, which it was okay in the season. You know, I thought he'd be horrible in the season, but it was okay in the season. You could hide him, you can move him, and he tries. That's the thing about Kemba, which makes it the worst. The man tries. You just can't play defense. He's too small. But in the playoffs, he's too small. Teams targeted him, went after him over and over and over. Just look what Kyle Lowry did to Kemba.
Yeah,
look what he did to Kemba. And then Kemba, I'm not going to say he don't got no heart because he's out here checking hearts. But Kemba couldn't do it back offensively. And you are an offensive weapon. You're not just some type of, okay, yeah, you can score. No, Kemba, you're supposed to be an assassin on the offensive side. You're supposed to score.
Cardiac Kemba.
And you weren't able to do that. You tell me Kemba he's fine, and he feels some type of pain off of losing and knowing that, hey, it was mostly on me. And he can come back and give you 20, 22 points a game when you need 30 because Tatum doesn't have it. That's the thing that pissed me off. And when the young guys didn't have it, it's on Kemba to say, I'm going to put the team on my back. And he not only did he not try, he didn't do it. Like he couldn't perform.
I don't know, man.
It comes down to Kemba. If Kemba can do what we think he can do, you're not having the doubt you're having right now.
I'm pretty sure I saw a report earlier today coming from Brad Stevens saying basically something along the lines of Kemba not even going to be ready or where they want him to be by the time the season comes around.
That's horrible.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to look it up, something like that.
That was about to do load management until the playoffs.
I'm going to look it up right now. I'm pretty sure I saw something along the lines of Kemba's not where they want him to be, something like that, right now.
And if that's the case, if you can determine
Brad Stevens has a cautious timeline on Kemba Walker with NBA season approaching.
Okay. So if that's the case,
uncertain for opening night.
It's trash. The opening night's in a month. So that means he's hurting. And if that's the case, once again, I'm going to say this. Why not bring in Isaiah Thomas?
The thing with Isaiah is, how healthy is he really?
That's why I said bring in. Test him out. The guy's coming out. I mean, he says it every year, but he's coming out. He's saying he did the surgery. It's the best he's ever felt. We know that Isaiah can put points on the board. And if Kemba's really going to be funny money, you can get a backcourt of Teague and Isaiah Thomas. I am for it. I'm for it. One thing I know about Isaiah Thomas, he's a leader and he's got heart. One thing I know about Isaiah Thomas, he's not going to allow these little 20-point blowouts and things and be all happy-dappy in the locker room.
Nah.
And now he's coming back home. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows how much Boston Fans love him. So he's gonna feel entitled to take a leadership role. He knows Jalen. He knows Smart.
Danny ain't gonna bring him back here. I don't know. I personally take a chance on him because again, I don't care for Tremont Waters and Carson Edwards on this team. Even the rookie that they just drafted, put his ass in the D League and let him develop here because not going to be depending on, Teague and possibly Isaiah for foreseeable future. This guy goes down to the D. And again, the reason why I automatically like that rookie, like I'm going to get back to Isaiah in a minute, but the reason why I automatically like that rookie point guard that they drafted is because he's like damn 6'4".
And he's tough.
And it's from all accounts, everything is saying he's a tough guy.
I could see him and Smart really getting at it.
Like, get Carson Edwards and Tremont. And I like Tremont Waters because in the G League he like played in the league or something. But like I don't know that height. You gotta have a real type. You gotta be a real certain type of player to be in the NBA at that height and really contribute. Like there's not many guys at 5'10" or whatever that come into the league and contribute and have a role carved out for them. Like there's few players that make that happen. I don't know if Tremont Waters and Carson Edwards are those guys, but I easily kick any of them to the curb to have Isaiah come in. And even if Isaiah not getting a lot of minutes, because you have to understand that if he comes you're coming back to possibly sit on the bench and not play. But again, like we're looking at all these reports about Kemba, uncertainty, load management. If there's games where he has to sit and you have to say, okay, well, we're going with a night of Teagan and Isaiah sharing the point guard role, like I'm fine with it.
Especially if you already know Tatum and Brown are your focal points.
Hey, man, it's on Danny Ainge. And, at this point, I don't care what else takes place in the offseason. I've seen enough. Whether it be this offseason, last offseason, and I've seen enough with Danny Ainge. And I said this to somebody earlier, and I'll say it here, on our show. If there's any single report from any media outlet that says anything about Danny Ainge's job on the hot seat, on the line, or anything, I'm jumping all over it because I'm to that point where if there's a rumor of him possibly losing his job or looking at, and Celtics possibly looking in another direction, I'm not thinking twice. I'm all for it. I'm giving it the green light, thumbs up, everything. It's been a good. That guy's been here.
Damn near
20 years.
Yeah, damn near.
And listen, he ain't Belichick. Like, come on now. He when it boils down to it, you could talk to me about, he's built some good teams and with a big 3 hour, and then last couple. It's a lot of question marks at the same time. And let's be honest. You look around the league, the GMs. Danny Ainge might be one of the older GMs in the league.
Yeah, Danny Ainge is not in the analytics round, which I'm thankful for. That's where all the new GMs are coming up with their analytics. But Danny don't got no more friends in the league. The league is definitely got it younger. I don't know if Danny can relate to some of the young cats anymore and bring it in. I don't think the lore of the Celtics 17 championship rings means a lot to players. And players don't give a damn that you won 17 championships.
Lakers won 17.
Right? And with Lakers 17 means more than the Celtics 17. Because the Lakers 17, these kids growing up saw the Lakers win 5, 6, 7 of them. Like, oh my God, I've seen these guys win. They saw them like, whoa, I'm in the lake.
These young kids ain't worried about Bird and McHale and them back in the day. Like they heard of them, but
they don't care about Bird and McHale. And they saw Pierce win championship in 2008, and that's starting to become a dinosaur years ago now. Mm-hmm. That's starting to become very far away. It's like, oh yeah, they had a big 3, right? Oh, Pierce is the guy who played for the Clippers, right? Like, it's starting. That's what it's starting to be in this generation. So Celtics 17 does not equal Lakers 17
in this current
day and age at all. So the lore of the Celtics, and yeah, I guess Kemba Walker, the last veteran in the league, can be like, okay, I know what it means to put on this Celtics uniform and the winning culture and all that stuff. But point guards like coming here because you're a point guard in the Boston Celtics. You're gonna get buckets, and you're gonna be fine in Brad Stevens' system. But other than that, man, so I agree with you, Mike. I mean, I'm not on the fire dating age move, but if he were to be gone, I wouldn't blink an eye.
I'd say thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Thanks for your one ring.
I wouldn't mind bringing a young blood into the round. I wouldn't feel like Danny's very greedy. The Gordon Hayward thing. Danny's a dude that he needs to win 80-20. Like, it can't be a 50-50 trade. He needs to just steal the trade. He's done it many times in his career. It's awesome.
Be that.
But it can't always be like. And then now you built a reputation where GM see your numbers. Here he goes. And it might even be a good trade. But they just think that you're trying to fleece him. It's like, what's this man up? What's this man up to?
You can't fool everybody, man.
Like, yeah. So hey, we are Celtics fans. We can only just wait and see what we think is going to happen. I'm a little more optimistic. I'm excited for Tatum. He got paid as he should have gotten paid.
Your star players are locked up.
6 years. We have Tatum for 6 years.
And you have Brown right now for another 4, I believe.
So that's a long time. And Tatum's mom came out, said some great things. If you're a Celtics fan, said he wants to be the guy who, I don't know if you saw the quote, but he said he wants to be a guy to be in the Celtics uniform for a long time and say that he brought championships to this team. If that makes you feel great, if you hear that as a Celtics fan, because by all accounts, Tatum's good, but he's starting to become better than we thought he was going to be projected to be, and that's a hit. That's a hit. Jaylen Brown, he's taken that step that we saw only a few players take when they can't come into league and shoot. Brown couldn't shoot for a lick when he came into the league. Butler couldn't shoot for a lick when he came to the league. Kawhi Leonard couldn't shoot for a lick. And it's rare. When you come in the league, you can't shoot. Sometimes you just can't shoot. You're not a good. And Butler, he's still not a great shooter. He became a decent shooter. Kawhi, he's just incredible. He came from a guy who really could not shoot to a great shooter. Yeah. And Brown, he's developing into that good shooter where in the playoffs, when he was taking corner threes,
knocking threes down.
You were confident, and he was shooting it in people's faces, and so he's in that rare case. Only said 2 other players. There's not a lot of players that can do that when they come into the league, especially a wing slasher. When you can't shoot, you can't shoot. It is what it is sometimes. But Brown's developing, so if he can take that next step, Gordon's gone. And you're saying Kemba's wishy-washy. Jaylen should be able to score 22, 23 points a game consistently. Yeah, and that would be big for him and big for the Celtics.
I think he did that in the playoffs. I mean, in the bubble and the playoffs too. In the playoffs, bubble, whatever. I think he was definitely right around, 20 plus a game. Which was where he was. I mean, he took a little bump in the bubble for sure, with Hayward missing time and Kemba not being Kemba. I just think, last thing I'm gonna really say about this is, again, I want the supporting cast to be great around Tatum and Brown, and I'm confident they're both going to take the next step, the right steps, to be all-star level players. I just hope that this Tatum, Brown, and I'm going to put Marcus Smart in. I used to say just Tatum, Brown. I'm going to put Marcus Smart into it too, because Smart came to the league, Brown came, a year or 2 maybe after Smart? Mm-hmm. So this is really the Smart, Tatum, Brown era, because in all honesty, I don't think the Celtics are going to be moving any of those 3, or they're definitely going to be trying to keep those 3. I think that's the core right there. Kemba's kind of in that, but those 3 guys are the core, because Smart's about 26, Brown's 24, Tatum's 22, about to turn 23, something like that. So that's the core. So my only hope is that this Tatum, Brown, Smart era doesn't get fumbled away because of just bad decisions by a GM, and we can at least see that core with a nice solid team around them get at least 1 or 2 championships in Boston.
And that's it, man. Y'all heard it here first, here on Double M NBA Free Agency Talk. It's still early, still some thick moves to be made. We'll see what happens with this Gordon Hayward saga, which hasn't closed yet because Charlotte wants to pay this man money that they don't have. I remember the Celtics, and it's funny. It must be a Gordon Hayward. The Celtics did the same thing. They signed Gordon Hayward. It was like, hold on, we got to make some moves first. We don't have the money for you yet. But hey, Gordon Hayward has the agent of the century.
Yeah, shout out to whoever that guy is. Got that man paid off a 3 injury plagued season.
That's crazy. Gordon's gonna get shots up. Like, I know people are like, oh my, in the beginning of the season, there's gonna be a lot of overreaction. Look at Hayward, 20 points, 22 points, this, that. LaMelo's gonna get feed Gordon. Gordon's gonna be the essential guy there. But then we all know how that's gonna end. I wish nothing against Gordon. I wish it worked out for him. Yes, if you follow this show, you know how much he bothered me. But it wasn't because of him. It's due to his injuries. I'm just a fan. That's all I am. Just a fan.
Oh, man.
But this is the Double M Show. Mr. Mike Nice.
Yeah.
DJ Mees. Everybody be safe. I hope you find some time to reflect. Be safe. If you're with family, enjoy. Eat well. Drink well.
Hey, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Share all of our content. You know, YouTube, we at about 70-something subscribers right now.
We're trying to get to 100.
Trying to get to 100. IG want Twitter. We want our numbers to go up. You know, like we said at the beginning of the show, optimism all around for 2021 and optimism and big things to come, you know, for Double M for sure. We took a little bit of a hit in 2020, but most people did. But we're still here, and we're still going to try to push it to be better, make things better for sure. Shout out to everybody tuned in, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Much appreciation per usual. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving to y'all. We are signing out, and we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Be on the lookout. Follow us on all social medias. Double M Media, Double M Media, Double M Media.